anyone's interested in getting involved, you can email me. Email's right up there.
Did you use your own app to find a new partner?
I am single. After what I went through, I've decided that being by myself is a great decision for quite a while. When you realize your picker is as broken as mine was, it's probably good to take some time off for a bit. Yep.
You have a subscription model, right?
Well, so the app is actually free. To take the CRACE score or the schemer score, it doesn't cost anything. And I made that decision because of what happened to me. If I wanted to change dating and fix what's broken with it, I couldn't charge money as a hurdle to get people in the door. So that's free. I do charge, there's what I call the vibe check, which is an interpretive report based upon the results you get for the CRACE score, schemer score. It's only 99 cents and it's super cheap. The catfish check's $1.99. The legal history lookup, the background check is $7.99. So super cheap. I was marketing it at college or young adult age, so I had to make sure that it was cheap. Yeah.
What kind of information does it use to find out the things about people that people want to find out? Like, what is it just social media? Is it?
No, so this is the great thing, and this is why anyone who has not worked in psychological test publishing can't solve this problem. Because people do something called impression management. Or as I like to say, when you first meet someone, you meet the representative. When they're on social media, that's their representative. So any sort of stuff you took from that, it's already maintained in a way that will misrepresent who they are as a person. So these questions are actually questions about their behavior. Are they unkind to you during conflict? Do they respect your boundaries? Those kinds of things that really bring attention to the issues that matter. That, as you date someone, if you have an argument, you're more pissed off about the argument than how they treated you or the dynamic of how that argument occurred. So that was the goal. It's really to bring attention to each of these issues. So as people are answering the questions about their partner, it now gets kind of ingrained in their memory. So as they go around meeting people, they now know what to look for as red flags. Yep.
How do you guys like profit off that?
So the goal is to get college contracts and bake in a learning course into orientation so that colleges provide that to the students. The students take that course, get a certificate, give it back to the college to show that they completed it. And now the student is better protected because when you guys come on campus from your parents' house and they had maybe a ton of rules, and now you're on a college campus with every opportunity you could have, there needs to be guardrails that keep you safe and ways to look for those red flags that someone who's just coming out into the dating world would have no idea that it's that dangerous. Yeah.
The more questions you answer in the app, you can understand your personal situation.
So there's 3 different levels for the CRACE score. There's a quick one that's like the top 10 questions. So to explain how it works too, the heavier weighted ones are the ones that are a threat to your physical safety or your emotional safety. So like if someone's emotionally abusive during conflict, that's going to be heavily weighted. And the app is going to recommend that people leave the relationship if there's anything such as abuse or grooming. It says get out of there. And if there's anything that is emotionally abusive, it recommends leaving as well. So the goal is to create these hard lines of behavior that should not be tolerated because it's destructive to you as a person. You're welcome.
Any more questions? I'm not going to start scanning out for a while, so you might as well go ahead and ask your questions. It's not every day you have an app developer and an entrepreneur here to talk to you. Take advantage of it.
So would you consider the app the next few questions, like your personal assistant?
Well, so the great thing about this too is that it replaces going to your friends for advice. Because usually what happens is there might be a little bit of their intentions and their advice to you, or there could be shame about what you're dealing with and not really wanting to share that with your friends. And so now you can go in the app and answer questions about your relationship, and you don't have to have those revealing conversations that you feel kind of crappy having, or that ruin the friendship because your friend's trying to get you to break up with the person they don't like. So that was kind of the intention too, is that the app can be used by people in bad situations in the safety of like a bathroom if they're in an abusive relationship, or it can be used in a situation where a friend recommends it to someone else so they don't have to have that conversation. Thank you.
So you had this idea, where did you actually start? Like, where did you have this idea you knew what you wanted to do? What did you do first?
Started thinking about what red flags my ex-partner had shown that were the ones that really damaged me, or that were really unhealthy, or that things that, so to give you some more understanding of the questions, these are actually signs and symptoms of major mental health disorders. So narcissistic personality disorder, that's where someone only cares about themselves. That's gonna be horrible to be in a relationship with someone like that. And a lot of the ways they show their behaviors are actually the items on the questions. So it doesn't diagnose anyone, but each of the symptoms go back to a diagnosis, if that makes sense. So it's not anything made up. It's not like I just came up with these. It's literally, you know, bipolar, borderline, narcissistic person, all those bad ones. That's how the items are. You're welcome. Yep.
Sorry, so were you saying that you're trying to sell to colleges to then sell to college students?
Well, it's actually sell to colleges. I'd create the relationship with them. They'd pay me, let's say, $10,000. And it would be a partnership. I put up marketing stuff on campus. They send out an email to the students with a link. They go on and register and complete the course, and then all's done. And the students would become proficient in using the app and be able to avoid trauma because they now have, you know, a list of actual criteria to evaluate their partners on.
So why would you do that versus just like direct to consumer?
Well, I do that. I have 430 users right now, but I'm hitting it from both sides. So I'm hitting it from the bottom, which is the consumers, but then it's a lot easier to go to a business or a college and say, hey, you have 10,000 members, give me $1 per student, $2 per student, and I'll help you guys with a huge issue you have, which is that public safety and blue lights, that doesn't go anywhere off campus, and that doesn't, help them avoid dating a bad person. So this actually like augments all of that and creates a much, more comprehensive safety net for students. Yep. Well, so I've been doing a lot of podcast guest speaking opportunities. It's amazing when you have a really horrible life story. They love having you on there to talk about it, so it works out really well. But I've also been doing paid advertising, but I'm really looking for direct to the college sales. So I'm gonna be hiring a sales rep soon to facilitate that so I can just focus on the product.
Did you use a psychologist to help you design the questions?
No, I did not, because of all my therapy and years of therapy, I am pretty well versed in this, and I had worked on multiple tests while I was at PAR. And so I understood what needed to be done, and with the approach I took, which is signs and symptoms of major mental health disorders, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, these signs and symptoms have been around for a very long time. So this isn't like new science, it's just using it in a unique way to help protect people from people that might ruin their life, essentially. You're welcome.
I think that's my question.
Oh.
Have you considered marketing it to like therapists and stuff? Because I think a big part of like relationship wise is through therapy too. Like to educate.
No, I completely agree. So I didn't talk about the segments that I think are best fit for the product. College students, people who are just getting out of a long-term relationship, or to your point, people with trauma. People who have a lot of trauma, if you grew up in a household where your dad drank a case of beer every night, it's not gonna look weird when your boyfriend's drinking a case of beer every night. So it really helps those people. I do agree therapists could recommend it. Marriage counselors could use it to diagnose what's going on in the relationship, why the conflict exists. who's instigating certain issues maybe. I've had a matchmaker actually ask me about using the site to screen all her clients.
Would you consider this app as an alternative method in case your therapist is unavailable?
I don't think that an app can replace talk therapy because that dynamic is very different. This is more educating people on what to look out for in the people they date and becoming better at identifying those red flags. Yeah, talk therapy is great. It gives you a chance to have someone who's trained guide you through your problems and help you process them in a healthy way, which this cannot do any of that. So.
We're going through the questions back here, and it's kind of interesting because what it says to me is that you can't fix somebody. And those of you who've been in love know that occasionally you're so much in love with somebody that you feel like you can fix their faults, or you can fix the things that are really those bad red flags. And you can't fix somebody. And you can love them, but you can't fix them. And there's a big difference there. And so I think that's one of the interesting things about this, because I had not looked at the app. I would get in trouble if I downloaded the app, but I let Professor Lindsay download it.
You took the bullet.
He's a more trusting relationship than I am.
I already told my wife I was gonna review her on it already, so I'm very transparent about it. But the question's in there, and I think, this is like, when I think about this business model, like, this is really out there compared to what you would see from this type of thing, which I think that when I see this, I see like, you took a big risk with this, right? Like, the questions, if you all download this app and look at it, these questions are hard questions. Talking about being physically hurt during very intimate times that you don't talk about with friends or family. Like, these are like real. So, but it's good though, that because you don't have a place to talk about this. So that it was a big risk to throw 80,000, 79,000. That was like a round number.
If it was 80, I wouldn't have done it. It would have been too much.
But that's a big risk to take on something so tricky to discuss sociologically.
Well, and that's the thing. As I talk to people, it's interesting. There's a misunderstanding about what the app does because most people think it's a Tinder, but with safety features in it. And so I have to educate them on that. Or that, a tool like this is necessary. I mean, people know that there's a lot of bad dating outcomes out there, but you have to educate people on how this would be effective or why it would be effective. So it's kind of an uphill battle a little bit. And I have gotten some slack for the logo, a lot, pushback from some people who say I'm being insensitive. But I think that it was a design choice. I felt that to make the logo a little controversial was to pull people in to judge me, and then they'd look at the product and say, "Oh shit, this is a good product." And so it really, turns that, judgment on its head, and they have to, backtrack on how they felt about it.
Well, thank you very much, Justin. And
You're
also
welcome.
thank you for your insightful questions, because I think you got some really good questions here. And you're willing to stay a little longer.
Yeah, of course. And like I said, there's gift cards on those postcards for a Starbucks gift card. So grab one on your way out, or a sticker or a shirt if you want. And thank you for attending. I appreciate it, you guys.